What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode and welcome back to channel ANDERZÉN. Today we're going to be working on the 1994 E420 manual swap. If you guys haven't checked that out, go do so. I have a whole playlist that shows everything that was done to the car. But anyways, we need to move on because this thing needs shocks and struts badly. And it's time that we upgrade because it already has lowering springs. So we got something special that I'll show you right now to throw on it. All right, let me show you the goods. Thank you, FCP Euro, as always. We are throwing on the BILSTEINs, and not only BILSTEINs, but these are actually the B8s because this car, like I said, has lowering springs. Somebody actually put on some sock struts and they look fairly new, but I think because not being valved right with the lowering spring, they've been bottoming out and kind of killed the front shocks, or front struts. So we got these instead. These should hold up great with the lowering springs. That's what they're designed for, the B8s. The B6s are just the normal sport models, but these are a little bit different valving for the lowering spring capabilities. We also have some new upper strut mounts for the front, so we'll go ahead and throw those on as well while we're in there. A couple changes to the car since you last saw it. We have the factory airbox back on, and if you see this wiring mess down here, we actually have a working speedometer. I'll throw a little clip in right here. This is so sick. I gotta adjust it definitely, but I'm not going 20 miles per hour. For this job, it's pretty, hopefully, straightforward, fingers crossed. But strut mounts just have three, looks like maybe 12 millimeter bolts or so. This one is a 19 or maybe 20 or 21, I can't remember. But yeah, you basically just take this off. We'll take off the bolts, one holding it horizontally, and then the two as well down at the bottom. We'll take those off, drop the strut out, and then we'll replace this at that time, basically little by little. But from watching videos on this car, the overall suspension design kind of leans itself to the DIYers. So fingers crossed, again, knock on wood. I'm not jinxing myself right now, but hopefully things can go fairly quickly and fairly smooth. All right, we got the goods. Next thing we need to do, jack up the car. I forgot my GoPro. I wanted to set it up while we were doing everything, but I'll try to update you guys as much as I can as we're going. And real quick, if you didn't already notice, I got the W124 Drive the Classics hoodie with the Hammer Snow graphic on the back. If you guys want to go check them out, anderzen.co. I have a ton of stuff on there now and more showing up every day. So thank you guys. All right, guys, first look at everything real quick. This little collar locks in to the grooves here, and they're just little push tabs right there. You can see kind of like little zip ties. Basically just push them out and then just slide that thing. You got to unhook this one, probably sensor line of some kind. It comes out of that little clasp right there. So pretty straightforward. If you guys are not familiar, there's going to be this bolt up here that we'll need to take out, bolt and nut, and then there are two bolts down here at the bottom, one on the front side and one on the rear side. Before we do any of that, we're going to use the jack to put some pressure on the bottom of this so it kind of keeps everything in line while we're working. And then we're gonna take off this before we do anything down below after this is jacked up. All right, so we have this jacked up right here, just on the control arm. And just to show you guys, I saw this when I first purchased it, but in case you haven't seen that video a while back, there's the H&R stamp. And funny enough, I just noticed, I think they used 2 spring pads, which is funny, but I don't have a problem with it. Keeps the ride nice, but yeah, looks like they were trying to get to like a specific desired height and use 2 spring pads, which is funny. Okay guys, top strut secure is off, whatever you want to call that, bracket, I guess. It is a 22 millimeter nut. I used the impact to kind of break it free, and then it started spinning with the Allen head, so I used a 7 millimeter Allen on a wrench, and then I opened actually standard 7/8 because I don't have a 22-inch open wrench, so it was the same size pretty much, and just got it off. So now we can move down below. I believe these are 19s, but we'll see. Okay, impact and a 19 millimeter open wrench. See if we can get to this. Let's try the breaker bar to get it started. There we go. Impact got it started. Let's fire this thing off now. Alright, one strut out. It's not completely dead. Alright, there we go. Go ahead and show you guys what the new assembly looks like. Actually, I guess we should get this out first. Okay, strut mount is out. They were 13 millimeters actually. This one doesn't look too bad, to be honest, but I just don't know the history of when or if these have been done. I'm sure they have. They don't look too old, but like if you look closely, I'm not sure, to be honest. Maybe a little bit of cracking. They are melee, so yeah, they've probably been replaced. They were probably replaced when the struts were, but oh well, we got nicer ones. All right, new versus old. These are a Sox one, like I said, a little bit different. Looks like either zinc plated or aluminum or something instead of the black. So yeah, let's go ahead and pop them in. Okay, new one is in. I don't know what the torque spec is on this, but they weren't very tight, so I just let the little Milwaukee ratchet do the torquing for me. Let's go ahead and open these up and see what we got. All right, here's the old struts, by the way. I mean, they're good things. Sox are good struts, but I don't know if this is blown or if it's just not the right valving. It doesn't feel too bad, actually. So I just don't think it's the right valving to be used with the lowering springs. So bye-bye Sox. Maybe I can sell those if they're still worth anything. All right, guys, I was in a bit of a panic, but I just learned something new. These didn't come with bump stops. The struts that came out didn't have bump stops. And I guess for some cars, when you have lowering springs, you don't use the bump stops because it'll basically force the suspension to sit on them. And if that's the case, then they have no room to travel. So these are specifically valved so that they don't need the bump stops in there. So yeah, crisis avoided. I was like, God dang, dude, I got this thing torn apart and I don't have bump stops. I was about to start searching my stock to see if anything would fit, but we should be good. All right, well, let's see how this goes. Supposedly you want to put the bottom two on first, then the middle, and then basically try to work the strut to the top. It's not going to sit all the way up to the top. You have to use the I don't know, like an Allen to guide it from what I know, but I don't know. So let's see. All right, so that's sitting where it needs to be, but suspension needs to go down quite a bit. So let's actually leave that. Let's leave this sitting there. I'm gonna ever so slightly go down the light, then I'll be able to see. Alright guys, it was just first time struggles, no big deal. I just had to find the sweet spot. Do this one second after you do the two bottom ones. You just got to kind of play with the sweet spot. When it's at the right position, this will basically be sitting like right underneath the entry point. Right now it's all the way through. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the new washer and nut. Okay, it basically sits on here like so. There's two little grooves in the actual plate, if you guys see those right there. So those fit into there nicely. And then you basically, what I learned from watching another guy's video, I'll shout out his channel right now, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but you basically want to get to the point where these are going through and giving you, you know, threads all the way through, or some of them are nylon locking nuts, so you want to get to at least where it goes through the nylon. So this one should be good. I got plenty of threads going through and ready to zip this on. Also, double check the sizes that your kit came with, because all the ones that came off were 19mm for mine. But on the BILSTEIN, they put 18mm replacements on the bottom two. And then the bolt that goes through is, the bolt head is still 19, but the nut is 18. So it's kind of weird. But yeah. Okay, top one is on there, plenty tight. You can see how much threads came through. It's about 3 or 4 threads. I put all the other ones tight, but now that that top one's tight, I'm gonna put some load on it. I think it's in a good position, and now I'm really gonna crank all these down. Okay guys, one side completed. Everything hit with the impact on the bottom. Top is good. All right, we've learned a bit on the driver's side, so fingers crossed the passenger side goes a little bit quicker. All right guys, my phone was inside charging. It was about to die, but I finished up the passenger side. Went fairly smooth. This side was actually giving me trouble trying to get those bottom two bolts in, even though I knew what to do. I was just trying to locate it. It was a little tricky. So you just gotta kind of leave it loose where you can and just, you know, work it around until you get them to find the locations of the holes. So I'm making an executive decision for myself and my stomach and my body. I'm tired, so you guys will see me in a few seconds. I will see me here working tomorrow. Coming up the back, and then we'll do our test drive, see how everything feels. What's going on, you guys? It's the next day. It's time to do the rear half of the car. Figured I would cruise with you guys for a little bit on our way over there and just talk with you guys about what I'm feeling so far from doing the front half. First off, feels great compared to before. The front half was really the big issue. I mean, the rear is okay, but I'm sure it's gonna feel a lot better once we do the back half. But the front was like unsafely traveling, just bouncing, and if I hit bumps and stuff like that, just wasn't feeling good, especially at speed. It actually almost took out, I can't remember if I mentioned that, but it almost took out my radiator when we were coming home from Seattle one day, leaving the car show. It was like bottomed out really bad and smacked the bottom of the car really bad. So much to the point so that I thought for a second, I was like, oh my god, we might have just cracked the oil pan, but good thing it was not, and we were able to get it home. But yeah, it's something that was needing to be done. Just with the combination of springs that it has, those shocks just were not working. So yeah, it's cruising nicely. The speedometer is fully on point now. It was 5 miles per hour ahead, but it's fully dialed in now, so I'll have a video on that coming up soon. And yeah, I just wanted to check in with you guys real quick before we get over there. It's kind of dark right now, so I don't know how much you guys are gonna see, but I'll catch you guys once we get over to the garage. Man, it feels so much better. Even like the front half of the car sounds different now. Like it's just, everything sounds more crisp. Crazy. Anyways, catch you guys over there. Alright guys, well I guess we got a mini job to do before we start the back struts. Remember if I just told you about how when we were at that car show in Seattle, we slammed on the hose down here. The hose split. I tried to adjust it yesterday. It seemed like it was holding, but it's a no-go. Luckily, I've already had it on hand ready to replace, so got to throw that in. I'll try to save what coolant I have because I don't have much left here to put in. So if I need to, I'll throw some water in it too. But yeah, let's get this done, I guess, first. All right, well, so that I don't waste all my time waiting for this to cool down and whatnot to be able to work with, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the rear while the front's jacked up and draining. Slowly draining out. I've already filled up almost that whole thing. Trying to save what I can. But yeah, it's super hot, so there's no point in just sitting around waiting for this to get as much out and start working on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and jack up the rear, get the wheels loose, and start on the rear struts. That way, probably by the time I finish, this will be somewhat cool and easy to work with. Okay, scratch that, I'll hold on. Just when I was about to start working, it stopped draining. So I got the lower portion off. Let me get the other spot that connects the engine block, and then I'll get the one that goes to the coolant reservoir. All right guys, well about half an hour later, I decided to do the upper hose as well. Got the new hose down on the bottom. Man, definitely like pull your sway bar down or something if you didn't, or if you're doing this. I didn't, and it made life a little bit tricky trying to fit my hands up there to get the clamp on that bottom block one, but that clamp is on the reservoir. It's kind of full right now, but this is going to go down obviously once I turn on and it bleeds, so I'll go ahead and do that now. All right guys, well, unexpected little upgrade right there, but we need to get back to the scheduled program and do these rear shocks. All right guys, I'm gonna switch to the GoPro for a little bit. This wheel is loose, other side is loose, car is jacked up. Got passenger side exposed. I'm gonna do this one first. You guys can't see nothing in there. Let me get the light. I might have to use the phone. GoPros don't have very good low light. There we go. So there is the passenger side. There's basically two nuts on there, like locking each other. So we'll get those off in a second. They look like maybe 17s. We'll see. But before we do that, gotta pop the wheel off and take off the little control arm cover, and then undo the lower bolt for the strut itself, and then we'll work it out. Okay, passenger side shock is out. They were actually BILSTEIN, so not matching with the fronts, but solid parts, just again, not valved for the lowering spring. So good thing we changed these as well. These are still in pretty good shape. They don't look very old. I don't know if there's a manufacturer date on here or not, or if BILSTEIN puts anything like that on, but yeah, they feel fine, but yeah, not for what we want. Bottom was a 16 millimeter. I don't know if that's factory because it's new BILSTEIN hardware. And then notice there are two different rubber bushings. The bigger one, more round one, goes on the bottom side of the strut tower, and then this one goes on the top side, and it's shaped the same on both sides, so it's not gonna matter. And it'll sit like that, and you're either gonna have 2 nuts together or 1 locking nylon nut like it came with. So yep, there we go. All right, and these should be a breeze to get in, but hopefully, because they're a lot shorter, so we'll see. But I'll update you guys once I get to the other side. All right guys, now that I got a hang of the passenger side, I'll go ahead and show you guys the process of the driver's side. Okay, next up, I'm going to get the top and work our way from there. I'll show you guys that on the phone. All right, you guys, here's what we're working with up top on the passenger side. Same thing, just hold the bottom nut with 17 millimeter and then spin the top one with 17. So I'm not gonna show you guys this. I'm kind of bombarded with carpets in here, but yeah, fairly straightforward. All right, for the next trick, I'm basically going to try to yank this down as much as I can, just with force, and then I'm going to stick a screwdriver into this and start prying it out. So I'll try to get you guys a view of this, but not really sure where. Let's see. Let's put you guys right here maybe. Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, man, that was a struggle. Woo. Well, I guess this side must have been in better shape than the other one because this thing is not compressing at all. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, new one going in. You want to use a small screwdriver to help locate the hole once you get it in here. Alright guys, we are on our homeward bound step. Because these are the B8s, they are shorter, so we need to jack up the control arm a little bit to get this all the way flush. And then once that's flush, we're going to go up top and finish things up there. That side is all done, and we're ready to button things up. Well guys, there you have it. We have new radiator hoses, new suspension. The car's got a new transmission. It's practically like a brand new vehicle. It's only close to 30 years old, but man, that was a long night. Put in 3 or 4 hours right now doing all that stuff. I'm tired, ready to go home. If you guys didn't notice while we were filming, got the M113 manual swap blueprint t-shirt. You guys can check it out, anderzen.co again. Check out all the things on there. Really appreciate any support, any purchase that you guys make. Means the world to me, helps me put that back into the cars and to the channel to provide more stuff for you guys and to just keep building this community. So big appreciation to all of you guys that have ordered things and are thinking about doing so, or just give the time to go check it out and see if there's something you like. That said, she is sitting officially on her new BILSTEIN B8 suspension. It's time to go see how this thing feels all put together. Alright guys, know you won't be able to see much, but first impressions, feels very good. It's strange to have a car that was kind of floaty and boaty before feel like it's so planted. I haven't really had this big of a transformation on any car in the past that I've owned. You know, going from like shot suspension to like an upgraded suspension is pretty dramatic, just all around. It's just like it can turn in. It feels it feels really good. Can't really do much right now. I'm just on my regular drive home, and it's dark out, so not gonna see much. So I might just end the video right there. I hope you guys enjoy the install, and I'll definitely have some driving clips coming up in a future video with the overall update of how it's been with the manual swap and all the things that we'll have to do with the GPS speedo and all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that soon, but until then, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Am I something that you want, or am I something that you need?